bullshit, then yeah. Okay,
I'm not, well, I don't know. I don't
know. No, let's be real. Come on.
My intuition is that it's a big mistake. I think that what you said earlier about squandering opportunities, we have the political right has not in a long time had an opportunity.
I agree.
Seize the zeitgeist, the public sentiment like we have right now with this. And I just don't understand why our immediate reaction has to be hunting down some losers or ignorant people who people who are just popping off on Twitter. And basically what we're doing is, whether you like it or not, we are ceding giving up the moral high ground on free speech, because no matter, et cetera. And now I'm getting up and I'm reading Pam Bondi talking about, and even Trump basically saying we're going to go after people for the equivalent of hateful speech or political views that we deem hateful. Now, I understand that Pam Bondi sort of walked that back, and I know Trump just says a lot of bullshit just to joke around for effect.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand why we're spending our energy on this. I don't. Even with the argument that I just made, I get it. My significant other totally disagrees with me on this. He argues with me about it on Instagram, whatever. Like, I get the argument. Personally, I just think it's very problematic. We're not just talking about people who explicitly said it's great that he's dead and I wish more people on the right would die, etc. It has expanded. The umbrella has expanded to people who were just expressing critical sentiment of Kirk. I mean, there have been examples that I've seen of people who have been let go from their jobs for just criticizing the dude, and that's just completely that's absolutely messed up. And again, I'm just afraid of where these encroachments on speech are going to end up, particularly when someone else is in power or something else is in fashion or it's a different topic. Amassing all of this information about people, about our fellow citizens who have said bad things about Charlie Kirk, or said he deserved it, or it was karma, or even cheered it on, or whatever. They've got 60,000 names now, and they're gloating about how they've got, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Go read the tweet. He said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now we're going to be getting into the DMs. Is this a kind of society you want to live in?
Will squander this opportunity. This is the only way to strike back.
What do you say to that? Okay, we'll just jump right into it.
Let me just say a few things straight for your audience. First of all, this is not the way I normally like to communicate, talking about how I did in this video. I know that it comes across as shrill, which if you're a woman, it's the worst sin you can commit. I know it comes across as shrill. Bunch of people got pissed off. I was really upset. And let me tell you why. I cut this part out of the video, although it's still up on the YouTube one. But the video that you saw that you're playing, I cut out the first 10 minutes because what stoked all of this anger, is that some of my viewers, when I started posting stuff about my critiques of the quote unquote censorship being done in Charlie Kirk's name, some of my viewers were pulling this card, and I just hate it. I just fucking hate it when they do this. I've followed you for years.
No.
So anyway, all that having been said,
I hate that. By the way, let me just interrupt. I hate that, and I've had that happen. Or I'm a super chatter in shows, like I'm trying to hold money over you too. But even just I followed you for so many years, but you say this, and I don't like you now. Like, okay, well. First off, sometimes it can be about a serious take, or it could just be they don't like something you've done or whatever. It's like, okay, well, I mean, you're not going to like everything I do. If I watched you every day or followed your shit every day, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't.
It's so childish and it's so manipulative. I hate it. So anyway, that was the genesis of this video. And a couple of things. I understand, I totally see validity in the argument that the right, quote unquote, we are in a war with these people, and you got to go. Clausewitz, war, politics is war by other means, or vice versa, right? And when you get an opportunity like this, particularly with the public outpouring of sentiment for Charlie Kirk and the sympathy and all the people who are jumping on board right now saying I'm done with the left, et cetera, et cetera. When you get an opportunity like that, you go for the jugular. And we've got these people in various institutions and universities and schools, et cetera, who have these poisonous, toxic views. And we have an opportunity to bring them down, or to cleanse society, so to speak, of these elements. I understand that view. My intuition is that it's a big mistake. I think that what you said earlier about squandering opportunities, we have the political right has not in a long time had an opportunity.
I agree.
sees the zeitgeist, the public sentiment like we have right now with this. And I just don't understand why our immediate reaction has to be hunting down some losers or ignorant people who people who are just popping off on Twitter. And basically what we're doing is, whether you like it or not, we are ceding giving up the moral high ground on free speech, because no matter what distinctions we want to make about this, well, there's a difference between having a view on COVID or having a view on abortion. There's a difference between that and laughing at someone's death or whatever. Well, at this point, that's what you say. But we are setting precedents now that people can be easily fired, and employers can be shamed into firing people for tweets that are deemed by the majority to be offensive and problematic. And I just see such an obvious slippery slope here. And also, I felt like one of the great things about the right, one of our best selling points ideologically, was our respect for free speech in the last 20 years and standing firm. I used to be a college professor. I felt totally repressed in so many ways. And I felt so proud of the right. We're standing firm for an expansive view of free speech. Words are not violence. Words are not violence, et cetera, et cetera. And now I'm getting up and I'm reading Pam Bondi talking about, and even Trump basically saying we're going to go after people for the equivalent of hateful speech or political views that we deem hateful. Now, I understand that Pam Bondi sort of walked that back, and I know Trump just says a lot of bullshit just to joke around for effect.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand why we're spending our energy on this. I don't. Even with the argument that I just made, I get it. My significant other totally disagrees with me on this. He argues with me about it on Instagram, whatever. Like, I get the argument. Personally, I just think it's very problematic. But my anger is not for the people who disagree with me. My anger was for those idiots that I was talking about initially.
Go ahead. $1 on
I'll
Rumble. Here's a critique for you, Kurtz. You can't wear a low-cut shirt on the kill stream? Like, what are you even doing here? Can't free the girls for a morning
Jesus.
Country? All I'm saying is give
what
peace
in
a
the
chance.
world?
Dude,
my brother's
you know what?
starving. What in the fuck?
No. I want to respond. I was going to wear this shirt, and not only is it low cut, but it also shows a lot of side boob as well.
God.
And I was going to do it, but then I was like, oh man, I know some of my viewers they're not used to this rough kill stream thing. And they're going to be like, look at Kurtz, being like a slut on this show. So
Tarting it up. Well, maybe next time. We'll see.
Maybe next time. Yeah.
You got to give them something. You got to promote it ahead of time.
Sent $3, miss whatever your name is. I've been following you for years.
No,
but
my
unfortunately,
God.
I can no longer tolerate that I haven't gotten any nudes from you in my DMs.
Heart. Now, what about Erika Kirk?
Oh man, look, on the one hand, I give her grace, as they say, and look, this is going to offend people, but I did think that her speech was weird, and it did feel heavily politicized to me in a way that it was definitely not like Jacqueline Kennedy-esque or whatever. But also, I understand Erika is a political figure, and she saw her husband is on a political mission and stuff, so she continued that. But like talking about the people who have done this and them and whatever, a lot of people are going to be disappointed, y'all, that when it comes down to it, it's going to be this one nut, Tyler Robinson, and maybe a handful of these other nuts that he was friends with or in these Discord chats with. And I'm not saying that this doesn't have a political dimension. I just don't. I see the way that certain people are talking, even like Matt Walsh, and it's like, yeah, I understand the concept of political war, but this rhetoric, I think, is actually not helpful. I actually think that we have a great opportunity to make a lot of converts with the carrot and not the stick. And the fact that so many on the right seem to have just jumped on the stick, just using the stick, and we're just going to like now just beat our political enemies into submission. Just the last thing I want to say about this is that we're not just talking about people who explicitly said, it's great that he's dead, and I wish more people on the right would die, etc. It has expanded. The umbrella has expanded to people who were just expressing critical sentiment of Kirk. I mean, there have been examples that I've seen of people who have been let go from their jobs for just criticizing the dude, and that's just completely, that's absolutely messed up. And again, I'm just afraid of where these encroachments on speech are going to end up, particularly when someone else is in power or something else is in fashion or it's a different topic. And then finally, the other thing is that I don't think that this is a good look for the right. And I think we've just now completely ceded given up the moral high ground on free speech. And it's just, to me, it's sad. So that's where I am on that.
I'm not sure of this case. If you could put a link in there in chat, I kind of vaguely know about it, but I guess she was black. And spat on people deserved a lot worse than being expelled. He's mentioning a case of.
Oh, you're talking about the. See, I didn't know what case you were talking about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't. Well, look, when you're spitting on people, we can draw distinctions in behavior here. When you're spitting on people, that's a very different act than saying on Twitter that bigot got what was coming to him. Or it's different than a teacher actually going into the classroom and saying negative things about Charlie Kirk. Absolutely fire that teacher. And that person should be arrested for spitting on defacing property or spitting on people or whatever. I'm absolutely with you on that.
Now, yeah, I'm with you on that too. Now, also, let me see here. What about the video though in general? I don't know if we talk. Well, I'll let this go through.
Penclick sent $3, so we're just out of luck with the side boob blouse.
Stuff to move on. All right, so the Erika Kirk. Just the video in general, though. And again, her husband just got brutally murdered in front of the whole world.
I know.
But the video was weird, though. It was weird, though, wasn't it? Like, it's like.
Well, here's the thing. Look, I cut people a lot of slack.
Not even her speech, by the way, which that's fine. It was the posing with the casket and all that. I was like. Anyway,
see, okay, I cut someone more slack for something like that because that's not like pre-planned, that's more impromptu or whatever. And I can see some people want to make, he's a public figure. She wants people to also experience the grief she's going through, whatever. But when you stage, basically, it felt like, I'm sorry, but her speech felt like a propaganda move there. For I know things that she believes in and Charlie believed in, whatever. But the whole thing, and it just, to me, it did come off in an unfortunate way. And also, can I just say one other thing? I don't understand the conservative cognitive dissonance on women, where on the one hand it's all about the sort of trad. Maybe you can explain this to me or someone else can. There's this like idea of like women don't need to have the vote and they need to just go back to home and all that. Isn't it like a little then weird for her to be talking about taking up a widow's battle cry and leading, I'm going to lead this battle now and stuff? I'm thinking, isn't your ideology that you should be basically just taking care of your family and back in the home? And again, it's not me saying it. I don't understand the cognitive dissonance on the ideology there. So that's, like she has a PhD. Erika Kirk has a PhD.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, a PhD in Christian leadership from Liberty, from Jerry Falwell's University.
Then, yeah,
I'm not. Well, I don't know.
No, let's be real. Come on, I know from Liberty University. Fucking hell, are you serious? I make fun of my own political science degree, but at least it was from USC Upstate. Okay, it was the Upstate branch, but still University of South Carolina. Whatever the fuck. Jerry Falwell's University Christian leadership. Okay, here's some Christian leadership here. What the fuck?
And so here's the thing, though, that I ask. It's like I saw her do podcasts with her husband, I'm talking Ms. Kirk, and they would talk about basically this idea of the woman and the ideal wife. And it was this very sort of traditional, domestic, supportive thing. And yet, on the other hand, she gets a PhD and she's out there doing podcasts, and now she's going to lead this charge in her husband's name. And I just wish that conservatives would be a little more open about the fact that they've got some extreme cognitive dissonance going on when it comes to their idea of women's place in society. So anyway.
All right, now let me go through some of these comments because you got chat heated, which is what I was hoping for. Also, they're not correct. Women don't deserve to vote. Is one comment there from Mr. Man. Silver Lake.
Say, can I agree that I have a lot of feminist critics who like to repost something that I said on Twitter one time, where I said that women getting the vote was disastrous. And I actually think that that two things can be true. I do think that it was disastrous in the sense that it was shifted after women got the vote. I agree with that. On the other hand, I just don't think that there is a tenable philosophical argument to say that you can bar a huge part of the population.
ZC, let me read some more of these. Silver Lake said you're jealous of Erika Kirk.
Well, I mean, I don't think so, but I guess unconsciously, if I were, I wouldn't know. I will say, like, she has a big opening now with this audience. Like, she has now millions of people who are watching her stuff. So she can definitely has, let's put it this way, she definitely has a lot of power now, and it'll be interesting to see what she does with it, which is, again, my critique of where I see the right going wrong on this stuff in the last several days or so is like, we have all this power now. Are we sure that we want to be employing it this way? Some people I know say, yes, we're in a war. The right is in a war, but I think it's gonna be really problematic. Go ahead.
What about the whole gamer aspect? I meant to talk about this earlier because I got known through Gamergate. That's the only reason I don't have to work a normal job and I'm able to do whatever I want and talk shit online for a living is Gamergate. And that was 11 years ago. Over 11 years ago it started. So I've been around a while. And one of the things about Gamergate was like the casual maligning of gamers that went on in the media and had went on historically. And that's mostly gone now because I feel like most people play video games at this point or have played them at some point at least. So I don't think it's as potent a thing. But the right wing has this fetish. And they got excoriated and just dragged for this all throughout my childhood and adolescence and early adulthood. They got dragged by the gaming media and gamers all the time because they were constantly saying, oh, video games make you evil and it's disgusting and bad habit. Well, they're doing it again. The fucking... who was this? Megan Kelly said it yesterday. Some gamer, some left wing bitch. I was rock bottom you through a table before I would trade video games for you. Go ahead.
That's a good example. That's a good example, actually, of what I'm trying to say is like the narrative can shift. The sentiment in society can shift so fast. And I was watching you an hour ago or something, and you said something that was really smart. I mean, you say a lot of smart things, but you said,
thank you.
Hey, it seems like some of these people out here, they don't think that Democrats can get elected again. Let me tell you, I also am a student of history like you. And I think one of the things we can both agree on that we learn from history is that the winds of change can shift on a dime, and there can be catalyzing events that you don't see coming, or when people do feel like one side when the pendulum has shifted too far, things can change. They can change so fast. It is absolutely within the realm of possibility that within the next several years, sentiment could shift to the left for some reason or reasons. Absolutely. And here's my concern. If people start to feel like the right is going too far, or it is being repressive, or they start to feel like it's encroaching on them in some way, that can help sentiment to change.
Yeah, some people are not fully thinking that through. And I don't know, just be careful. Like Trump said, that's all I'll say is be careful because things can shift and they can shift dramatically, not just rapidly, but when they do shift, it can happen dramatically too. Like it can be a big shift and you don't always see it coming either. Sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. And events like,
right.